Right, so briefly, what's your stance on the implementation of work capability assessments?
We believe that work capability assessment should be abolished, and we should go back to a situation whereby any individual's fitness to work is left to their medical professionals, the people who know their actual personal situation.
It's pretty true considering claimants already have to provide a wealth of evidence from their GP anyway, don't they?
Exactly, that's right. But then that evidence is fed into a incredibly blunt computer system that doesn't actually acknowledge the reality of people's lives, the reality of what they are indeed capable of. And, some of the underlying philosophy behind this that's supported by the NGOs that talks about, making sure everyone has opportunities in life is great. But we've got to provide the safety net, the support underneath that ensures that people are able to live a decent life, whatever their circumstances.
Will simply getting rid of ATOS be enough?
No. What we need to do is get rid of the work capability assessment. What we also need to do is the personal independence payment scheme that's replacing disability allowance is clearly a failure. It's a system that's simply designed to save the government money. It's not like the level of disability or illness has suddenly got less. They're just simply slashing away at the money available. And that's not acceptable. And what we also need to do is, on a broader scale, is if you replace ATOS with another G4S, Serco, A4E, any of that dreadful alphabet soup, they're all, privatisation as a model has failed. We now know that what it does is it appoints companies that have one great skill, which is the ability to bid for government contracts. They don't have the ability to deliver government contracts, they have the ability to bid for them. And that's what they're successful. They're becoming enormous giants, dangerous giants, monsters even. And what they do is they take a large amount of public money, put it into private pockets, they cut the pay and conditions of staff, and they slash the quality of services. And that's simply what the model means, what it does, and we can now all see that.
I think A4E, Serco, Capita, G4S, I think they're all actually under scrutiny for tax evasion at the moment, aren't they, as well?
Well, it's interesting, yes. Their contribution to society is negative in just so many different ways and this is simply not a sustainable model that you can build our society on. Things are going to change enormously in Britain in the shortish to medium term, simply because where we are now cannot continue.
It seems that we treat our disabled benefit claimants like criminals. Do our attitudes need to change before things can improve?
I think what we need to do is we need to demand that our politicians honestly state the situation. We have a huge misstatement of saying, benefit fraud is some enormous problem, when actually it's a tiny, tiny fraction. Whereas, of course, tax evasion and avoidance is an absolutely enormous problem. We need to acknowledge that any of us, can be left in a situation where, we need support. And I think there certainly does need to be work on the attitudes, but politicians have to be honest and have to avoid the dreadful scapegoating that's been going on. And, we have a problem with the right-wing media. I'd suggest,
Benefit Street springs to mind.
Well, indeed, and, the Daily Mail, the Telegraph and all the rest of it. I think we could probably all take a small step by deciding not to consume any of those.
Oh, and finally, I suppose what's the ultimate outcome of all this resistance and protest and...
Well, I think what it does, what things like this do is it educates people. I saw some just ordinary passers-by as here stopping and reading the notices, and so this is a chance to both give people a chance to get together, express anger, feel strengthened by the communal presence, but it's also a chance to educate the passers-by and give people a chance to be exposed to different messages that they might not normally see otherwise.